are these people?
So you had a big event this week that most of the mainstream press probably avoided, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Except
but there's one, and it's of course they'd let this outlet talk about it, you know.
Fox News, everybody.
Yes, Fox News.
Earlier when I said that I have better luck with the right than I do with the left on issues of free speech, this is what I'm talking about. Fox News had Andrew Smith on to talk about Julian Assange. Fox News has Glenn Greenwald and Jimmy Dore and Pamela Anderson
Reed.
and a whole bunch of other people
Yep.
to talk about Julian Assange.
Mm-hmm.
MSNBC, they're not having anybody on to talk about Julian Assange.
No.
And when they do cover it, it's Mehdi Hassan giving his little like minute and a half monologue where he gets some stuff right, but then also manages to throw in some like Russiagate weird smears and, you know, some other stuff about how he's a hacker or something. So he managed to get it in some of the propaganda while he lends kind of a sort of sympathetic tone to what he's saying. So he's trying to get best of both worlds, and it's all just bullshit propaganda. So yeah, Fox fucking News.
Did you read this article from Landon Mion?
Yeah,
I figured you did. But you know, as always, they have to go through exactly what they have to teach people about Assange every time with the standard paragraphs of like,
which they
he's still
wouldn't
in
have to
Belmarsh,
do if they did their job,
you know,
on a regular basis and had been informing people from jump.
Publishing information dealing with crimes committed by the U.S. government in the Guantanamo Bay, Iraq, Afghanistan. I mean, there's an insane list, you know.
It is an insane list.
So Britain's High Court ruled over the summer that Assange can be extradited to the U.S. Supporters in London on Saturday formed a human chain outside Britain's Parliament that stretched from the perimeter railings and across nearby Westminster Bridge to the other side of the River Thames.
Which, pause for a second, historic event. First time that's ever happened in the history of England. Old ass country. Nobody's ever tried to surround Parliament before. Not only did they try it, they succeeded, and mainstream media isn't really touching it.
5th of November would be another good day for an event. Just thinking. You know, gunpowder, treason, and plot. But Assange
an election-ish time.
Yes. Yeah. Assange wife Stella said the British government could speak to the U.S. authorities to stop the extradition attempts. It's already gone on for 3.5 years. It is a stain on the United Kingdom and is a stain on the Biden administration. Now that's just the his like judicial part, right? Not when he was stuck in Ecuadorian embassy for however long.
He was in there for 7 years ish.
7 years.
Yeah.
7, 8 years, something like that. So yeah.
He also
it's
now
been
has
over
COVID.
a decade.
You know.
Yes, and has an underlying lung condition, suffered a mini stroke on last October 29th, I think it was. So his health has been steadily declining he's been subjected to psychological torture for over a decade. He was inside the Ecuadorian embassy without access to direct sunlight or proper medical care for 7 years. He's been inside a supermax prison for 3.5 years under the most horrendous conditions where it's cold. They don't give him his winter clothes. He has to insulate his his windows with books. It's a whole fucking thing. And obviously his health would decline under those circumstances. He's essentially being held in solitary confinement. He's being murdered in slow motion, and it's bullshit.
Yeah. In the U.S., a little lady we know put on an event in D.C., and we also have Oz in chat, who I know did a ton of work streaming it.
Yes. Shout out to Roar Media.
King of Kings, Ozymandias, they're in the chat. Love them. So supporters of the Australian-born activist gathered outside the Justice Department to call on the federal government to drop its extradition bid. The protesters said they hope Assange never steps foot on U.S. soil and that he would not be treated fairly by the judicial system. Julian wasn't trying to help dictatorships. He was trying to stop the United States from becoming one, and that's why they want him in jail. And that is why it is crucial that we fight to set Julian free, 2020 Libertarian vice presidential candidate Spike Cohen said at the rally.
Shout out to Spike.
Yep, I agree.
Spike.
So you remember this. I thought this was pretty incredible when I saw it.
Shout out to a lot of people actually for this idea. So it really started with our friend Truman in London. He started the Yellow Ribbons for Assange campaign in like 2020, I think it was. And that has kind of blossomed. He ties ribbons all over the place every time they have an action. So obviously that's where we got the idea for the yellow ribbon, the giant yellow ribbon. But also our friend Kendra in Denver did an event, I think it was last summer maybe, where she did a bunch of giant ribbons. And she also used those kind of like We Are Millions photographs of like people holding the signs like Assange's freedom is my freedom or whatever. And so her campaign had used both the yellow ribbons and the We Are Millions pictures. So we combined them. Our backdrop was the We Are Millions pictures, which we then framed with the yellow ribbon. And then Paula, my dear friend Paula from Boston, had the idea to do a massive, I think this was 240 feet, 250 feet maybe of yellow ribbon. And my friend Paula hand stenciled all of those free Assanges on that ribbon. Yes, she did. You guys, people don't understand how much work legitimately goes into this shit. I should write like everybody down, because the people who did work on this, because everybody keeps trying to say it was Misty's event. Oh, didn't Misty do a great? No, I'm like just
tons
one
of people.
I'm the loudest one. Yes, like I'm the most visible. I'm the most obnoxious and public. But there were a lot of people. My friend Paula,
News to Share,
Patricia, Marty from New York. I'm gonna forget people. Bernadette. Martha. Lots of people put in a shit ton of work on this thing.
So, Misty, would you say that what you did was organizing?
Yes.
I'm only saying that because it's like, it's just exactly what you might be the face, but you acknowledge the fact that there are people who helped you and supported you that may or may not want the spotlight, but
a lot of them don't.
You in this. And I think that's something, I think when it comes to organizing, like people need to understand, like it's a team effort.
Yes.
Like,
and that's what Collin, everybody kept trying, like our speakers would get up and say, I want to thank Misty for organizing. And I'm like, stop, please stop doing that. And people are like, yeah, but you led them. And okay. Yes. I like took the reins and I was like, okay, we're going to organize this event or whatever. So yes, I was the first person to speak on it. I'm obviously also the loudest, the most visible. But you
delegate well.
But yeah, well, right. I mean, sure. If you want to say that, we did work. We did work extremely well together as a team. Yes. For the most part. We had a couple of times where there was like some miscommunications and misunderstandings and stuff, but for the most part, we all worked incredibly well together. Everybody did a great job. I could not have done this alone. There's absolutely no way. Like so many people brought different, whether it was, connections to different speakers. Like I don't have Ben Cohen's phone number. You know what I mean? But somebody I was organizing with did. So we were able to get a hold of these people and ask them to be speakers at our event. So it was not just my event. That needs to be made abundantly clear. I am in no way solely responsible for what happened on Saturday. You know what I'm saying? Like it took a lot from everybody.
Every time I do a thumbnail for Misty, I make sure Misty's like medium sized. She's like, she can't be.
It's not about me.
Assange has always got to be bigger than Misty in the thumbnails.
Yeah, I would prefer if you didn't use my photo at all. I was on with who was it?
Yep.
I was on with somebody and they asked for a picture of me. I'm like, does it have to be a picture of me? Can you just use like the flyer from the event?
That's what I did last time.
Of me? Yeah, I mean I would much rather it be that. So but a lot of people. That ribbon was something else, you guys. That was beautiful to watch.
I think a lot of people look at marches in general and actions like this, and they wonder like what it does. I think the big thing it's a demand ask. You have a demand. The demand is to free Assange.
It's also an opportunity to bring people together.
Yes.
Who understand and who have common cause. It's a great morale booster. Like I left energized, you know what I mean? Like I kind of need to be in those, because when I'm in small town Ohio, like my husband listens to me rant all the time and all that stuff, but for the most part I think a lot of us feel isolated. Do you know what I'm saying? Regardless of what your cause is, I think that it can be very isolating if you don't like I'm surrounded by Trump voters. You know what I mean? So but yeah, it's like going to this event and having people there who I know get it and being able to speak on it, raise awareness about it. We did get like Fox News did cover the event, so that's great. And I think it's also great because it shows that support is building. I mean, they surrounded Parliament in London.
Yeah,
you know
that's
how amazing
incredible.
that is. Like that's if and
Well, and I know
people
they
always
had
say, oh,
actions in
like
Australia
people were
too,
ragging
right?
on my rally saying, oh, there's not very many people. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Have you seen our other rallies? This is an
Yeah, this
incredible
is a
turnout.
huge
And
amount
you
of
can like
people.
laugh and be like, oh, well, that's just because you can't get anybody out. We're building, and every
Yes.
movement starts somewhere. And while I was putting in the work on the ground to try to build something like this, you were sitting at home making fun of me actually doing something. You know,
Yes, as
you know
always,
what I'm
those are the
saying?
people making fun of the.
Yeah.
How many people do
Olivia's
you
back
think?
there.
Yeah, how many people do you think you reached if you were to take an estimate of like people that
What do you
just
mean reached?
well,
Yeah,
like that saw
Watched and stuff?
these events that might have
Oh
like
God, I have no idea. I have no idea. I know it was on a shit ton of platforms. Obviously the Fox News audience got it. Obviously, in the lead up to it, a lot of people caught on to it through like my appearance on Jimmy Dore. I can't tell you the number of people who came up to me and said, "Hey, I saw you on Jimmy Dore, and that's why I'm here."
yeah.
And I was like, again, I thank you, Jimmy.
Well,
So
famously,
yeah, it
he
was
got Tucker to see the light on Julian too, which like
yeah.
you know, and he covered
I mean,
your
just
event, and a big shout out to
multiple times.
everyone who covered
And
that
he
event.
always does. And because of him, we also raised a shit ton of money, which by the way, just so everybody knows, because I learned a lesson. Next time I organize something, I need to go on Jimmy earlier. I had no
Yes.
idea we were going to raise that much money from that appearance. I had no idea. And I
Yeah.
went on like, what was it, Monday? The Monday before our event. And then all of a sudden we had thousands of dollars coming in, and I couldn't possibly spend it on something useful for our rally on Saturday. There was no time. I had,
Yeah.
what was I supposed to, you know what I mean? So now I was talking to the other organizers, and I think that maybe we're just going, I think for sure I'm going to donate some towards the billboard truck.
Yeah.
Because I get double my money there because Ben Cohen is matching all donations for the billboard truck that Randy Credico has been doing in DC. So I feel like that's a really good investment because
Yeah.
we're going to get double our money from that. And then I think that I may just like get ready for, because he's probably going to be extradited soon if we're being realistic. So, and we need to be ready to go. If he's brought to the United States, like we need, a presence needs to be on the ground in the Eastern District of Virginia, and it needs to be big and it needs to be consistent. Period. Like that needs to happen. I don't know how we make that happen, but it needs to happen.
I agree. One of the people you had there, who I think is just a real gem of a person, human trafficking survivor Eliza Blue urged the global elites, the ruling class, and employers of the CIA and FBI to be a hero, quit your job, and become a whistleblower.
One of my favorite moments.
So good. If it's a choice between free speech and the United States government, trust and know one's got to go. If one has to go, it ain't going to be free speech, she said, adding that she is so passionate about freedom because she knows what it is like to lose it. Blue said that despite being a female trafficking survivor, she skipped out on the Women's March that also took place on Saturday because without a free press, there would be nobody to cover women's issues or survivor issues and to let herself
And that's
speak
why I
for
love
herself.
Eliza Blue.
She's so good. Also,
no, but seriously,
outfit.
Reef, that's, you know, that's like, I try to make people understand how what's happening to Assange impacts literally everything else.
Yes.
And she gets it. Like she sees how what's happening to him impacts her ability to do the work that she's doing. And even more important than that, it impacts survivors' ability to come forward.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just so you just made a good point that I actually just now made the connection to abortion rights.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like women's rights. Period.
Everything.
Like,
I think I was talking to you in a DM the other day about like his story is connected to almost all the problems our country is having right now. Like between our military industrial complex, our like terrible justice systems, our loss of rights, the problem with the deep state, the problem with politicians, the problem with like
corruption,
performative politician, corruption, money laundering. A free and open internet, like you can't. Everything is connected to it, including.
People say I'm being dramatic when I say that. I'm not being fucking dramatic. It impacts
mainstream
literally
media,
all the things.
Mainstream media. They published his story first. Do people understand this? That the Washington Post put out the information without his permission.
The Washington Post, Der Spiegel, the New York Times, El País. There's a ton of outlets that put out the exact same information. That's why Obama
threw him under the bus.
New York Times problem.
Right.
Yes, I don't know why I have to have this conversation, honestly, still.
You
but
don't.
Here I am having to, but I
mean,
do,
you do.
obviously, because there's not, but frankly, it's not even because people don't get it. It's because they don't know. I think that's the biggest thing. Yes, there
Right.
are people who should know better and who are anti-Assange for whatever weird, ridiculous bullshit reason that they've been
Yep.
force-fed to dislike Julian Assange. But there are tons more people
So many
who have
people
never
don't
even heard
know.
of him or
Right,
vaguely
yeah.
know who he is, but they have no idea what's happening to him or how it impacts their life. That's what we're up against, is just a complete media blackout and just a ton of and I don't mean this in like a disparaging way, but ignorance on what's happening.
I agree.
No, I mean, for me, I didn't know about Assange until Richie Medhurst reported on him back in 2020. You know, so
And there's a lot of people like you.
I mean, I remember Jon
Stewart
talking about, like, when he was covering Bush stuff and weapons of mass destruction, and that was a big deal. Like, you know, but anyway,
Yes.
I wanted to let Eliza speak for herself a little bit if people didn't get to see
good.
it.
I'm glad you have this.
You know, she's been on Tara Reid before as well. You should go check out that. As well as that full stream with Vanessa Beeley and Wyatt Reed. I have the description below. Which is that whole thing was great. Vanessa's kills, Wyatt kills. But
Always.
Anyway, here's Eliza Blue.
Hi, everyone. My name is Eliza. I'm a survivor advocate for those affected by human trafficking. First and foremost, thank you so much to everybody that's made this beautiful event possible. Thank you. Thank you to everyone that has attended today. No thank you to the corporate press because they're not here. You're probably thinking to yourself, what on earth is a female survivor of human trafficking doing here and not over at the Women's March? See, that would, I guess to a logical mind, that would seem like it would make more sense. But the truth is, without a free press, we will have no one to cover women's issues. We will have no one to cover survivors' issues. That's why I'm here today. That's why I'm here today to advocate for the freedom of Julian Assange. See, when I made the decision to advocate for others' freedom, I didn't want to stop with survivors of human trafficking, or even just my own freedom. I want to advocate for all those who need to be free. Julian Assange is one of those people. But if we don't advocate for Julian Assange now, it will inevitably affect all of our freedom, especially press freedom. When it comes to survivors of human trafficking, we need an opportunity to speak out to a free press. We need whistleblower protection, and we definitely need free speech. We just do. Survivors need it. That's why I'm here today. Yeah. I couldn't look my fellow survivors in the face, the survivors that are going to walk after me. I couldn't look them in the face and say I did everything that I could do to serve them, and know that I did not advocate for Julian Assange when it mattered. This is the beginning, but I'm telling you, it's coming for all of us. It's coming for all of us. We have to fight for our freedom. We have to fight for our right to speak freely. Thank God I'm an American. Oh, woo! It's all we got left. It's all we got left. Are you ready to fight for it? I am. I have a message for the ruling class, the global elites, the CIA, the FBI. Be a hero, quit your job, become a whistleblower. Yeah. But if you do not, I'm hyped today. If you do not, you can tell I get hyped when I walk around. If you do not, if it's a choice between free speech and the United States government, trust and know, one's gotta go. If one has to go, it ain't gonna be free speech. I can bet you on that. I can bet you on that one. Yeah. We aren't gonna lose our free speech. God. I think I get so passionate about freedom because I know what it's like to lose it. And once you lose it and get it back, you don't ever want to lose it again. Yeah. It's really hard to get it back. I was thinking yesterday, and I wasn't going to add this in originally, but I know there's a lot of folks here that have been fighting this fight for a very long time. There are a lot of people that have been fighting for Assange for a very long time. Anyone that's been keeping up with what's been going on, there's been things going on, worldwide today, which have been really incredible to watch. And I had a message for you. As a survivor advocate, the days get long. You grow weary, you get tired, you get worn out. It's stressful. It's like you feel like no one's listening. You feel like there's nothing you can do. You keep going, you keep going, you keep going. Every day you wake up, you're like, what the hell? I gotta keep fighting for this. I see the Assange people is the same way. Thank you. And then on top of all of it, you'll have like Karen 9730065 on Twitter tell you, oh, Julian Assange wasn't, he's not a journalist. Yeah, right. Keep going. Please keep going. Because not only are you fighting for Assange, you're fighting for yourself, you're fighting for me, and you're fighting for survivors of human trafficking, some of our world's most vulnerable who need to have a free press and free speech. Thank you so much for letting me come today. Thank you so much for letting me speak. And thank you all for being here so much. Thank you.
Great speech from Eliza.
That's why I love her.
She's amazing.
That's why I love her.
Survivors,
she's right. Survivors need the ability to speak.
I wanted to showcase this little interaction too. Pause. The next. That was on Twitter. I felt like happy and sad at the same time.
Yeah. She's been through it, dude.
Oh yeah. So Eliza writes, I was watching this clip and laughing. I never wanted to talk much because I thought that I was too stupid. I can't read very well, and I never received a GED. My former abuser played on my vulnerabilities. I never thought that I had anything important to say. And I'll let you reply with what you said.
I can't. I don't know if I can read it. It's not very big.
There you go.
Silly you. You have so many important things to say, and I'm happy I'm around to hear you say them.
Oh.
But she does, Reef, she does.
Yeah,
if you all don't follow
absolutely.
her, you should go follow her. She deals with some of the darkest shit on earth. The sexual exploitation of a lot of children, but just humans in general, and human trafficking. And I mean, that is genuinely some of the darkest shit I can think of. And she deals with that every single day. Some of the stories that she posts on Twitter haunt me, and she has to deal with that times 1,000 on a daily basis, and she still remains so positive, and she really thinks that we can win, and she is super supportive, just as like a person, as a friend. I consider her a friend now. Like, she's very supportive of what I do. She even if she didn't get how it connected to her, she would still, like, she's just a really good person.
Absolutely.
And she does some of the most important work that I can think of. So I was
I'd love
super
to ask
pumped to
her,
have her there.
if I ever get a chance, about the Gotham Foundation. You heard of this? With Kevin Smith, I think, funded it mostly, which is a weird connection because his funding comes from mainly Weinstein, right? Yeah. So, like, and there's that whole
so much
like dogma you still can't find because, like, he's holding it hostage, essentially, Weinstein. So, but the Gotham Foundation is a foundation for human trafficking, if I'm not mistaken. I'd love to know what she thinks about that.
Yeah.
And if she knows anyone over there.
There's so much, like, the stuff that she, like, just what I've learned from her since I've known her. There's so much that, like, people aren't even ready for those conversations. It's heavy. It's a lot.
You also had Jill Stein show up, which I found interesting. So Assange sought asylum at the Ecuadorian embassy in London years ago because he faced extradition to Sweden after 2 women accused him of rape. The investigations were eventually dropped, right? Which was the whole reason he got snagged in UK, right?
Shout out to Fox News for getting that right. They did not call it charges. And almost all the time when mainstream media reports on this, they say that there were rape charges. There were never any charges. So shout out to, what's his name, Landon?
I think
the guy that wrote this.
Yes.
I followed him on Twitter. I told him thank you on Twitter. I'm grateful to anybody who's covering that shit. Yeah, Landon Mion.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think.
But shout out to him. He got that right. He did not call it charges, and that never happens. It's so rare for mainstream media to get that part of it right.
So multiple
on
speakers at the rally in D.C. rallied against the corporate press for their lack of journalists at the event, particularly calling out the New York Times and the Guardian for being amongst the outlets to also publish the contents of the documents Assange had obtained. We need watchdog journalists, not lapdog journalists, two-time Green Party presidential candidate Jill Stein said. In addition to publishing war logs leaked to him by former U.S. Army soldier Chelsea Manning, who was convicted in 2013 of violations of the Espionage Act and other offenses, Assange's site published internal communications taken from the Democratic National Committee and then presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's campaign that shed light on the DNC's attempts to boost Clinton in the 2016 Democratic primary. Assange has been blamed for impacting Clinton's chances of winning the presidency in 2016. Yeah, that's somehow illegal. The WikiLeaks founder is wanted by U.S. authorities on 18 counts over the publication of classified documents that mention no one's name, right? Doesn't hurt anyone or like give their location.
They've admitted in court that they cannot find a single example of anybody facing any harm due to any of the leaks that came out.
Yeah.
Leaks.
Jade Star
They've
wanted
admitted
me
that
to
several times in court.
repeat about Kevin Smith. He funds or is part of or connected to a charity called the Gotham Foundation that's about human trafficking. I was just wondering if Eliza Blue knew about it.
We can ask her.
Yeah, and and the fact that he's connected to Weinstein along with that is weird. And I think he made the foundation before that stuff all took off too. Not mistaken, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, we have another member of the CIA, or ex-member of the CIA, I should say, John Kiriakou, who became a whistleblower, which exactly what Eliza Blue asked people to do. So we'll let him speak. Who's MCing?
So me and Amber,
Okay.
we took turns, and I came in my chill leggings and my I am Julian Assange shirt, and Amber came in this like cute, adorable
Sundress,
dress and her
yeah,
hair
like,
done, and I'm
she's got
like,
pearls
really?
to clutch,
Yeah.
you know.
But that's like my entire wardrobe. That's what I
Eliza's
wear
in
all the
like
time.
Eddie Murphy's Raw outfit, you know.
Yeah. We were very oddly dressed. group of
Also,
people.
it annoys me so much. Someone could have fixed this rubber grommet on the thing. You could just pop that back on, you know? Like, I don't know why. My OCD just kills me on that.
I didn't even notice it. It's not like I look at the front of it.
Sound Reef.
Right?
Yeah, I don't have sound. I don't have sound on it.
No sound? No, here.
I
Mm-mm.
can't
Let's
hear.
fix that. See, this is what I get for trying to be slick and turning off other times.
Under the Espionage Act.
Thanks, everybody. Believe it or not, this is the first time in my life I've ever used a
Up this
megaphone.
cherry.
58
Nice.
years. So, I was on my way over here today, and I was driving, and I was on my way over here today, and I saw a sign that said, "Talking dog for sale, $20." I was intrigued, so I pulled over and went and knocked on the guy's door. I said, "I saw your sign. You have a talking dog for $20. Can I see it?" He said, "Sure." He takes me in to the house, and there's a dog there. I said, "Hello." The dog says, "Hello." I said, "My God, the dog actually talks." I said, "Well, tell me about yourself." The dog says, "I used to work for the CIA. They would send me into meetings, like with Bin Laden and stuff." I said, "I used to work for the CIA too." I said, "I never came close to Bin Laden. Tell me more." He said, "I would go into these meetings, Bin Laden, Putin, Kim Jong-un, and then I would go back to CIA and I would report. I would report what they told me." I said, "That's amazing. I got to buy this dog." I said to the guy, "I'd like to buy the dog." He says, "Well, it's $20. I said, "Well, why is it so cheap?" And he says, "That dog's a liar. He's never done any of that stuff." But this is a theme, because everybody at the CIA is a liar. Everybody. The CIA told us that there was no torture program. That was a lie. The CIA told us that there was no archipelago of secret prisons all around the world. That was a lie. They told us that there was no international rendition, kidnapping program, where we go overseas and just snatch people off the streets or out of their homes. That was a lie. The CIA tells us today, in 2022, that they cannot even confirm the existence of a drone program. They're lying. Now, Mike Pompeo said on the campaign trail a couple of weeks ago that if and when Julian Assange is extradited to the Eastern District of Virginia, he will receive a fair trial. That's a lie. A fair trial is impossible for a bunch of reasons. Now, what Mike Pompeo didn't talk about is that he actively sought to murder Julian Assange, that he actively sought to kidnap Julian Assange and bring him surreptitiously back to the United States, probably to be killed. He didn't tell us that the CIA bugged the Ecuadorian embassy for audio and video so that they could spy on Julian Assange meeting with his attorneys and use the information against him in the United States. We can't believe anything that they say because they lie about everything. And they're clear about it. Again, Mike Pompeo was happy to go on TV and with a chuckle said, "We lie, we steal, we cheat. Ha ha ha. Isn't it great to be an American?" So it's up to us to be there for Julian Assange. God forbid that he is indeed extradited to the United States. A crowd like this has to be in front of that courthouse in Alexandria, Virginia. We have to be there every day doing our part. Thank you all for coming. I'm so happy to see so many friends and new friends. Hello and welcome to the FBI agents in the crowd today. Maybe you'll learn something from us, but we hope to see you there. Thank you.
Oh, good stuff from
Hi,
Mr.
feds.
Kiyaku there. Yeah. At least
were feds,
the
too.
feds watching me find me funny. That's about all I got left for them, you know. So I hope they continue to find me funny. But
Can I just also complain quickly that when
Yes.
somebody is in the middle of a speech and they've been forced to switch methods of audio options from a microphone to a megaphone, just let
jump
them
in.
finish their speech.
yeah,
Don't jump in because the microphone suddenly started working. Don't interrupt. That person is they're trying to build to something. They're trying to give a speech. Just leave it alone. Let him finish his speech.
yeah,
It bothered me tremendously twice.
I feel
In
you.
the middle of it, people are like yelling at him. The microphone works now, and it's like, just let him fucking finish. And then there was another time a guy like literally came up in front of him and like put the microphone in the thingy as John is still trying to give a speech. Like
Yep.
just it was just frustrating. Like, let him stop interrupting his speech. That's rude. Don't do it. Don't like approach him. You just walked in front of a bunch of cameras and interrupted a man's speech at an event. It's don't do it. Don't do
Yep.
those things, please.
Well, and
Rant
no,
over.
no, you're good. I mean, Kiaraku was kind of, and this Fox article kind of brings it back together with that you know, Assange, they were going to kill Assange essentially. They definitely had plans, the UK and us.
And he now has COVID.
Right. So the CIA has reportedly previously had plans to kill Assange over the publication of sensitive CIA hacking tools known as Vault 7. The agency said it suffered the largest data loss in CIA history after WikiLeaks published the materials. According to a September 2021 Yahoo report, the CIA during the Trump era had discussions at the highest level of the administration about plans to assassinate Assange in London. Following orders, then CIA Director Mike Pompeo, who also conveniently was taking pictures with, what is it, the MEK, the thing in Iran, right? And the lady that leading the protests in Iran, Mike Pompeo also met with, FYI. The agency had drawn up kill sketches and options. The report further noted advanced plans to kidnap and rendition Assange. I don't know what they mean there, or if that's a typo.
Rendition?
Yeah.
Rendition's when you're like just yanked out, basically kidnapped and taken to a black site.
Gotcha. You know, Hillary Clinton styled, essentially. The CIA made a political decision to charge him. Assange's legal team has appealed Britain's High Court ruling to authorize his extradition. So this also happened, Misty. I know you had some fun under this, and I figured I'd let you get some more bitching.
Yeah,
in.
Anybody got clips?
I would love to see some clips. Still no clips, right?
Clips. I'm still asking.
That's what I was going to ask.
Seen my request for a clip.
You're gonna wait. You're gonna wait for the rest of your damn life.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I mean, listen, if you mention it in passing, even if it's just like a quick, like, hey, there's a rally happening.
Even if it was after the event, Missy will still take it.
Just covered it. Yes, I'm not like trying to be an asshole here. I'm genuinely thankful for that. And if you did, like, I would love to see those clips. I would love to retweet them. I would love to give you credit for doing it. Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole here. I genuinely appreciate literally everybody who helps us raise awareness for this, whether it's for our rallies or the rallies in London or just the case in general or whatever it is. Like, I am genuinely even people that I mean, I don't know why that's not clear. I've given Ryan Grimm credit numerous times. He hates me. I mean, we don't get along, but he does do decent Assange coverage from time to time, and I always try to thank him for doing that every single time.
With his stuff with Tara too. Same thing for me.
Legitimately asking, seriously, if somebody has the clips, I'm not gonna go back. I don't have the time to go back and watch hours of Majority Report from the past month, trying to find them, maybe covering this for 3 to 5 seconds or whatever it was.
We don't need an isolated clip either. Give us the clip that it's in.
You just tell me the show it's in, and then I can like fast forward through some shit.
Yeah, transcript search. Yeah, like
Misty, you said something that I think was very key, and I think this is kind of my frustration with, well, people in general, but I think, not everyone on the left, but I think a lot of people on the left, is that you have to be so pure as far as, have to be aligned on every single issue. And then like you can hate people and acknowledge the good work that they've done. Two can happen at the same time. Like, like we can shit on Ryan or anybody, in the space, especially if they have shit takes. But if they have a good take, it's okay to say they have a good take.
Or if they help me hype a rally that I've helped organize, and they are then hey, thank you. Like, thanks for doing it. I know we don't get along, and I'm sure that it was a lot for you to do that and just like forget our beef and do what's right for the cause. I am legitimately appreciative. I would
glad
like
you
to
have one
thank
ideal.
You.
Like,
I mean, I'm like, you guys know, I am an asshole. Like, I'm very upfront about that. I can be an asshole. I'm very abrasive. I'm blunt. I get all of that. I'm very loud. I understand. But if you genuinely try to help us raise awareness for this, help us boost our rally, I don't have the access to like Russell Brand or mainstream press or like the BBC or Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore is amazing and loyal and will always help. He's always helped us hype our events, but like we need lots of help. And so if you're willing to hype our event, then I would like to say I don't care, regardless of anything else. I don't care what you've called me. I don't care what you have said about me. I don't. You
can find our clip hyping the event on the channel. Just
multiple
scroll back
clips.
There. Yeah, like just in case you needed to look for those. Those are easy for people to send you. I
retweeted them. Andy would send them to me. I would retweet them. I try, and you guys saw. Sam Cedar's supporters are mad at me for asking for clips, and I'm like, you guys, they're like, nobody owes you clips. I'm not saying anybody owes me clips. I'm just saying I don't have time to go back and watch hours of Majority Report. And for like weeks now, I have been publicly saying, if you see somebody covering our rally, please send it to me. I would like to thank those people. I've said that numerous times. I don't have time to watch all the shows, you guys. I just don't. I barely have time to I don't even get to watch all of the people that I like. because I just don't have that kind of time. I
Yeah.
certainly don't have time to go back
watch
through
Chunk
hours upon
Yogurt?
hours of TYT or Majority Report. I just don't. It's
Yeah.
not shows I would watch anyways, and I'm not going to go back and watch hours of it to find, like I said, like a very short clip that they, maybe talked about the rally, or maybe they didn't. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not. You don't owe me any clips. I would just like one. So if I can say, hey,
Yeah.
thank you. I don't know why that's.
And Jink, if you got a problem, I can get a ref and we can solve the problem.
Oh my God. His thing with Jimmy
like,
Dore is
30 minutes in a
so
cage will fix this. I guarantee.
unhinged.
Like,
Guys, it's so ridiculous. He's a grown
it's so
ass
fun,
man.
isn't it? So
he's a grown
he
ass
replies,
man.
so did we. These jackasses don't watch the shows. They just take their talking points from morons like Jimmy Dore. If you can't tell Dore is a fraud, I feel terrible for
what?
you.
Jimmy Dore fucking covered it numerous
Covered it.
times, and he helped us raise money, and he
Easy
got people
clips
to
to
come out to the
pull.
event.
Yeah.
Very easy. And he had told me, and has told me on numerous occasions, anytime you organize something, let me know and I'll help you out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the fraud.
Right.
I don't think so, buddy. I don't think
Speaking
so.
of
Jimmy Dore
Jam,
never called Julian Assange untrustworthy and alluded to the fact that he was probably working with the Russians. Jimmy Dore never
No.
did that. Jake,
No.
that was you.
in this video, Jink Uger, the pro-war union buster who took $24 million from right-wingers and DNC donors and featured revenge porn and upskirt pics of celebrities for money on his show, is smearing Julian Assange as a Trumper who cannot be trusted.
A reminder, brief reminder, WikiLeaks has a 100% record of accuracy. Cenk Uygur is a known paid propagandist. Who's
Isn't it
untrustworthy?
crazy? Isn't it crazy? Let's see if people remember this video.
Obviously, it's hard to tell who's telling the truth here. But lately, I have to confess that WikiLeaks has not had an astounding record.
False. Okay, go on.
100% record of accuracy.
The way that Assange seems to be backing Donald Trump over and over and over again, it makes
Completely
me
devoid of
very
reality.
seriously question
Are your leaders that you put on a pedestal also terrible? That sucks.
Assange's efforts to actually be a journalist and not to be a partisan. And I get it. I get why he hates the
Not
Democrats.
to be partisan.
They're trying to put him in prison.
As he's partisan. Okay.
Okay.
Right. But
at the same
so
time,
are Republicans. Let's be clear about
and
that.
now the Republicans.
Anna, you gotta. Anna,
Kudos
we
to
told
Anna.
you. We told you, Anna. Not again. You're gonna get us in trouble again, Anna.
Are too, and they have been in the past. But it seems like Assange
Stick
has
to
picked
the
a side,
script.
and look, it makes me question his reporting, and so
He
Does it?
can't even say it without
so
like.
that's the situation
choking
we're
on
in
it.
now.
I know.
Who knows
so
what an idiot he sounds
now
like
is he
right
just
now.
leaking things that he gets, and no matter what, in which case I would respect that, or is he selectively leaking based on his political motives? Now that
I don't know. Is
There's
Jink
zero
selectively
evidence to
reporting,
support. Yes.
or is he
And
fully
there's
reporting?
zero evidence. People say that he didn't leak anything. There was nothing on Trump. He can only leak what he gets, y'all. He can
Yeah.
only leak what's given to him. Find some shit on Trump and send it to him. He'll leak it. Trust me. Are you kidding? You think Julian Assange is going to turn that down?
No.
No. He's not going
No.
to turn that down. He's going to love that shit. In fact, they have DMs with him and Trump Jr. where Julian Assange is like, hey, you should give me your dad's taxes. You know what I mean? Like he's trying to get information. It's just fucking
Like-
absurd. Jake's an idiot. He's a turd. He's not an idiot. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Yes.
But yeah, it's fuck that guy. I mean, seriously.
I agree. Normally I wouldn't cover, but I figured we would only spend so long on it anyway. But your event was great. So
worked
proud of
really
you
hard.
for pulling that together. As among
Wasn't
proud
my
of all the
event, though, Reef.
people. Yes, I was about
Yeah,
to
thank you.
preface. You know, and
Paula, Suzanne, Randy, Marty, Patricia, Bernadette, Chuck. I'm forgetting people. I knew I was going to forget, but you guys know who you are. Daniel, my good friend Daniel, Jonathan from DC. Yeah, lots of amazing people. And lots of amazing people put in many, 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 many hours of work. It was a lot of moving parts, very stressful, and it turned out really good. Best turnout we've ever had. And I'm really proud of it.
well, keep us informed on what the next move is, as always.
I'm already brainstorming.
Yeah. Don't work yourself to death. And you always got a spot
this
over
week I've
here.
been chilling.
If you need to plug anything, if you just want to come
know.
on, whatever, it's available to you. Just let us know.
I know.
So, you know, we also got
But then
the
you guys give
Rockfin
me
and
awards
Rumbles
behind my
and
back.
I know, right? Isn't that
Assholes.
fun? Isn't that fun? It'll get mailed to you.
No.
You deserve it. You straight up deserve it. Like,
Suzanne, by the way, Collin was there. Suzanne decided that when we went to the little after party thing where we did the Dan Cohen movie and all that stuff, that she was going to announce both Sabby's award, which shout out to Sabby.
yes.
She's
Also has an
fantastic.
Indie Media Award.
Yeah.
herself.
And then Suzanne announced the activism of the year or whatever award.
Yeah. Like,
So
but seriously,
silly.
you
I'm going to put it
deserve
back there, though.
I
I'm gonna
always,
put it back there so everybody can see it.
No, but I think Misty, like, I think you to me are a great. I know I'm gonna embarrass you, but
Yeah,
take
I
it
hate
for a
this shit.
second, please.
Mhm.
No, but I think like I get frustrated with people who say they're gonna do things, but they don't have like the discipline in order to, and I like in order to kind of commit to something long term until something. Well, the hope of something happening, even you may not see in your lifetime. And I think, and I get it, people do get frustrated with that. Because obviously organizing is like you put in all this effort and you may not even get to see the payoff in your lifetime. But
Yeah.
I think you've proved, and I think the argument that people are like, I know of you, are like, oh, you talk about one thing and that's it. Well, I'd rather you talk about one thing and be consistent on it than talk about multiple things and be like shitty on all of them. And I think
I do talk about multiple things.
right.
Yes.
That's
Yeah, exactly.
a ridiculous
Yeah.
criticism,
But I think
anyways.
that's what you're kind of known for is Assange. And I
For
think,
sure. Yeah, that's my
but
focus. But I
I
think, don't
think
you want, like you just said, don't you want your activists to be like focused and passionate?
Yes.
To me, that's like a prerequisite, isn't it?
right.
Right?
Right.
I
You would
think so
that that'd
too.
be like the top two things you need.
Right. And so I think, you are definitely deserving of that award,
Yeah.
that award, because you've been very, as long as I've known you, you've been very consistent,
I try.
on this, and I know it's hard, but I think, like doing this work, you don't get any praise at all, like it's lifeless, and oftentimes like people take advantage of you in that. But I think it's just, I think if India was here, you would just kind of say, look, we recognize what you're doing. It's hard what you're doing, but I think
Yeah.
also it should be an encouragement to others, that you're capable of doing the same thing, and we need more of it, for
Absolutely.
different
We do.
issues. So I think you're a great example of that. So I think you're definitely well deserving of it. And
Your attitude about it is fucking like fresh air. It's so lovely.
right,
Like
it's and like we
it's
talked.
you give
Yeah.
if someone is for Assange, that's it. Great, you're good. Like
Welcome
Right.
aboard.
everything else
Right.
you can still criticize, but for that, cool. Like it allows you to like bridge divides that everyone shits on us for doing.
Yeah.
Like
Like, I don't care if you genuine, like you trash talk me, you hate me. I don't care. I mean, you could be like Geoff or Ryan Graham, people who have trashed my character publicly for
Mhm.
no reason, for years. You show up to an Assange rally, I will, like, no joke, walk up to you and then thank you for being there. I have no beef with you for that time period when we're at that event. It's not about me. It's not about my ego. It's not about you or your dumb beef or however you see me or what. Like, that's completely not important. And that's, to me, that seems like a no-brainer. I'm selfish, y'all. I would like to get Julian Assange out of prison. And if that means that I have to work with people that I don't otherwise enjoy, okay. Like, and I don't mean work with, like, people will say, oh, you want to allow like fascists into your organizing space. Well, first of all, fascists aren't going to stand for Julian Assange, so I don't really have to worry about that. Second of all, no, I'm very picky about who I organize with. I'm incredibly picky about who I allow into my organizing spaces, and even those that I organize with, I like there's different levels of like how much I trust you. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be very wary of people when you're in this space. So no, I'm not organizing with everybody, but if you want to show up to an event, if you want to help raise awareness for this, if you want to like genuinely fight for the future of press freedom and free speech, then okay, let's do that together. Let's put everything else. Let's do that. Let's do
Yeah.
that. I would like to get that shit done, please.
I agree. But yeah, I think you're also, I know you called yourself an asshole. You're like one of the nicest people I've met in the space.
Well, I mean,
Like,
I'm
straight
perceived
up.
as kind of an asshole, and I understand
Which-
that. I am very blunt.
You fight for
and,
the right
like,
reasons. So
brash.
like, you're nice to
but
me.
I understand
So
why I would be
you
personally.
know,
Yes, I'm nice to you.
yeah,
Your experience is not everybody's. You know what I mean? Like I'm fully self-aware, Reef. I
I'd
understand.
hate to be an
that I
enemy of
am
Misty.
perceived as
That's what I've realized,
Yes.
and they should
I
all
get
fear
it.
you and be afraid.
No, I don't think I don't want people to fear me, but I mean,
No, but
it's not really about that. But
the
I get
particular
that I
ones,
am. Yeah,
you know?
I get that I am perceived in a certain way by certain people. I
Yeah.
am very blunt, and upfront, and I'm not for everybody,
I'm here
and that's
for
okay.
it. So
You know, nobody is for everybody, and I'm not for everybody. I'm
and
okay
if anyone
with that.
else is here for it, how do they find you? I know you got most of your
Tweeters.
links in the description. At Sarcasm Stardust, right? I think I got that right
Yeah, as
underneath
Sarcasm
you.
Stardust on the tweeters. I'm a prolific tweeter. I'm there all the time. I tweet about Julian Assange all the time. So if you would like to follow the case, it's a good place to do it. I'm already brainstorming for next ideas.
You have a couple of YouTube channels too, right?
Yeah, but I don't really use them anymore. I really am taking once I walked away from TNT a couple months ago. I was going through like a hellish couple of months. And I really just backed off of doing my own shows, other than I've done some visuals and stuff, mostly just to like update on the event though, really.
Yeah.
But I really just backed away from doing, like, I'll do appearances. Like I did a shit ton of appearances to promote the rally and stuff. So I'll be on other people's shows, but I've really backed off of doing my own, and I may go back to it at some point.
You should.
But it's been nice not having that additional workload. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
yeah,
Dude,
I mean, I
you were
have kids,
killing it
they're
at
in
TNT.
school.
So like,
I mean,
you
I worked.
know.
I went too hard for too long.
Yeah.
I went too
So
hard for too long, you guys. I really did. I never
Yeah.
had, like, there were rare days off between
No.
all of my stuff. So
if you ever need help, you know who to ask. We're over here.